SoFaygo is arguably the most talented artist to come from the new era. And before he would infamously disappear, his potential was unlimited. For far too long now, his career has been a mystery. And there's still speculation, jokes, and endless debates about what really happened to him. Well, I've decided it was time for that conversation to end. I spent years researching and decoding cryptic messages, and trust me when I say this, that what I've discovered will blow your mind. SoFaygo was at the forefront of the new generation. He was coming off the release of his breakout mixtape, which had multiple successful hits. And where our story begins is with the first ever announcement of Pink Heartz. He'd make it onto Kourtney Kardashian's story, and he was also going viral for this very questionable Triller. His hit song Knock Knock would land a music video for the Lyrical Lemonade channel, and it was going crazy. He'd follow it up with the open mic performance, which is where this gif came from. And during this time, one of the best ways to promote yourself as an artist was to go on live with Aiden Ross.
But nah, bro, I'm telling you guys right now, I promise you guys, if you don't know who he is, you're gonna know who he is really, really soon. This dude is straight next up, bro. So when are you gonna drop your next project?
I don't even know.
Rumors were already circulating that he had just signed with the Cactus Jack label, and after being spotted with Travis during Paris Fashion Week, this pretty much confirmed it.
He's been dubbed the Chosen One.
Wait, what the fuck? SoundCloud created a mini documentary which offered clips and behind the scenes footage showing off the newest face of the underground. And seriously though, the way that they're promoting this kid, you just knew he was gonna be something special.
Hey, when I say let's go, y'all say Faygo. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Alright, y'all ready?
The first show was a success, and it kicked off a string of performances that introduced him to the world. Around this time, SoFaygo would also land multiple solid feature placements, and while on tour, they hinted at this.
Bro, Trav had this one song in your shit. That shit was so crazy. I forget which one. It was kind of not like the type of most shit you be doing. It was like some whole different shit.
We've been trying to hop on some different ways and try some different shit out.
And while we're on the topic of Travis, I wanted to talk about something interesting. It was about the music video for the song MP5. This felt like a nod to the 2018 track Dark Knight demo, because last time it was Travis Scott and the bar where he famously mentioned Astroworld.
Astroworld's my planet, my home.
But this time it was SoFaygo promoting his new sound and showing us that he's up next for a reason. Shortly after this would come the very first promotional single, which Travis would make multiple story posts about, as well as an epic music video with a dramatic ending.
For months, there's been a lot of buzz about rapper Travis Scott's Astroworld Festival.
To avoid getting demonetized, I'm not going to be talking about this event. We all know what happened, and truly, it was a worst case scenario situation. And as SoFaygo was now tied to Cactus Jack, this is what fans tend to blame for the delays and the poor management of his career. Music is barely releasing, but his ties to Cactus Jack are as present as ever. He would be featured on a commercial for Foot Locker, as well as he was seen working with Pharrell, who's very big in the industry. And finally, there was an interview confirming that the rollout was back on.
Pink Heartz is the youth. Pink Heartz is young nigga music. Pink Heartz is the future.
Months later, SoFaygo would appear on Instagram Live showing off 5 new tracks with Pink Heartz as the pinned comment. Shortly after this, he would tease a brand new snippet, and can I just say, what was he thinking dropping this on SoundCloud? For months, there were previews and cryptic messages posted randomly, and fans did their best to try and decipher this information. But right here, they confirm that the album is finished, and we can assume that it's dropping sometime this summer.
Bro, when you gonna drop Pink Heartz, bro? Give us a date.
Damn. I'm gonna say like fall.
Summer is here, but instead of getting the album, he would drop a surprise EP called Before Pink. This project was mostly throwaways and bad decisions. The lead single had lost all of its hype, the merchandise was really poor quality, and to top it all off, they were actually playing into the whole mysterious disappearance act. This would later become a very sensitive subject. SoFaygo would be touring internationally for the very first time, and during one of the festival weekends, his team would intentionally leak an entire SoundCloud exclusive mixtape titled Baby Jack. It's still unclear why this happened. Some blame the delays caused by Astrofest, others would claim it was some kind of sales tactic, which it definitely was. And based off of this post, it seemed like he was attempting to take his debut album to a completely different level. But even though he was locked in and evolving his sound, the industry was evolving too, and what his team failed to realize was that the game had changed. You can no longer sit on a project for years working it to perfection. His team and label certainly backed this idea, and why wouldn't they? It was the face of Cactus Jack himself who practically created this method, a working, proven track record, taking years to release just a single project.
I think the most important thing is it's like nailing what you're trying to do, you know what I'm saying? And the good thing, you're on the road, you know how to play the game, you know how to do make sure the snippets are flowing out there, make sure the kids are eating what you're giving, but make sure that you really sit down and just perfect what you're trying to do. Because the last project I thought was that was a jump, you know what I'm saying? So the next one is gonna be an even bigger jump. You know?
This advice would cost him, and this jump, well, we'd have to keep waiting for it. But for now, the fans were getting impatient, and of course, they're wondering what the hell is happening behind the scenes.
Pink Heartz is definitely dropping here sooner than y'all think. So.
You said that last year, nigga?
Bro, oh god, hey, bro, I can't even lie for Faygo. She got me. Yo,
Is he okay? And speaking of not okay, it's Pooh Shiesty and Lil Durk. But you know that one video where Durk was wearing one of those premium winter coats and telling his ops to come? Well, that coat would be from the brand Moncler. And around this time, they would do an interview on SoFaygo, and here's what they said. Moncler Lunette steps into a future metropolis with SoFaygo. If you can't quite put your finger on the soundtrack, you aren't alone. The campaign film teases an exclusive snippet from SoFaygo's highly anticipated album, Pink Heartz. Oh, yup. That's the one they're shooting the music video for. It's got Ken Carson, too. That's gonna be such a banger. And it leaked. In the weeks leading up to Pink Heartz, his manager confirmed that yes, it would be dropping in 2022, and there was also a mini documentary coming as well. But first, an advertisement brought to you by LeBron James.
I might go in the house right there. I might go inside there, shoot the next one.
That was Cardi. He said Faygo should have just signed to Opium instead. Seriously? Makes sense to me. They both hate dropping. Okay, that last part didn't actually happen. But still, it's pretty wild that this was a real commercial, and honestly, I don't even think most people know about this. But after the entire Cactus Jack crew was at Bronny's 18th birthday party, this definitely makes sense.
Y'all motherfuckers on a party, goddamn.
Damn! Aiden Ross would finally have SoFaygo back on stream. They made jokes about him being zesty, which is why they're wearing makeup in this, and they called him out for taking 2 years to drop. But sometime during the stream, Aiden got to pick a song to tease, and this made for a pretty fire moment.
Just random? Yeah, all right, fuck it. What's your personal favorite that you think out of the random list that should go on the shit? Let's go, Faygo. I heard they like it the way that I spin it. They like how I talk my shit. I with Trav?
What?
What?
Nah, bro.
Pink Heartz is the project that's taken 2 years, but maybe this is the reason, because right before this album dropped, he's featured with 3 of some of the biggest names in the game. Aiden Ross, who's pretty much the biggest streamer in the world, LeBron James, who's in the GOAT debate and arguably the best basketball player ever, and of course, Travis Scott, who's overseeing the album and needs no introduction. This checks every box. How could this kid possibly lose? Well, to understand this question, we have to go back.
What can I get for you?
You know why I'm here.
Okay, not that far back. The road to Utopia begins. It was marketed as a mind-bending, first-of-its-kind nightclub experience, and they announced 2 shows, but we're just going to be focusing on the second one. SoFaygo would be posted in the club with Travis Scott, and this was the night that Trav finally gave him that public cosign.
This motherfucker right here is one of the hardest artists of all time. Everybody make some motherfucking noise and motherfucking Faygo in this motherfucker. You don't have to perform, but I just want to really hear this song because it's like my favorite song of all time. So,
Things finally seemed to be looking good for Faygo, and he must have been feeling like him, because once his weekend of clubbing was over, instead of doing a proper rollout like, you know, the rest of the industry, this is what happened. A 4-pack of songs off the official Pink Heartz album would be released, as well as a fresh set of visualizers and the official track list. Also, the Apple Music documentary dropped. This is where that comes from. SoFaygo had the world at his fingertips, and we're closing in on the final days before the album, but there was just one last stop.
Pink Heartz comes out Friday here with the song for show, SoFaygo.
Yeah. Feel like I'm
What do you mean they hit the second tower?
This album was worth the wait! Pink Heartz will change the world! Oh, fuck! No! Oh, shit! Oh, fuck! No! Pink Heartz finally drops, and instead of changing the lives of its listeners, it changed the life of its creator. Before we jump into this, first of all, drop a like right now. I'm trying to get to 10K subs, and if you guys want to see me post more than once a year, that's what needs to happen. I appreciate it. But don't even think about clicking off this video until you've watched the entire thing, because I promise you, it gets crazy. But with that being said, let's talk about Pink Heartz. The album took too long. This album sounds like Travis Scott. SoFaygo lost his uniqueness and sounds too mainstream. What did he do to this song? Why is the mixing so bad? Who let DJ Khaled in the studio? The album sold 7K first week. It must not be good. I thought SoFaygo was chill. Why is he talking shit? SoFaygo fell off. The big artists can get away with this, but a brand new artist just breaking out, this was unacceptable. We were always told be patient, timing, it'll be worth the wait, but in the end, it didn't matter. The album failed. No shit, Travis was the executive producer. Travis Scott is probably the rapper that embodies mainstream music. And when you're hooked up with the best engineers, the best producers, and your boss is the Fortnite guy, of course the music is gonna have a mainstream appeal.
The album coming soon.
For Pink Heartz, what you gotta say for that, man?
Pink Heartz coming soon.
Uh-huh.
We've been working on that shit for a long time. I'm not gonna lie, that shit is a masterpiece. When you listen to that shit, you're not gonna wanna stop.
It seems like the argument is that he simply just missed the mark. Pink Heartz was good, but it wasn't great. The music was hyped up to be life-changing, and it just wasn't. This still haunts me, and call it a reach, but just hear me out. Travis would release this song a week after Pink Heartz. It's a collaboration with Pharrell, which we saw earlier was also working with SoFaygo. Well, one of Faygo's earliest leaks was a demo version of the song I'll Say, and he actually played it at a music festival. This was my all-time favorite Grail, and when the final version released, I just can't. I can't listen to it.
Sounds like a lot of... Sounds like a...
And I just know his grubby hands were all over this song, and I'm still mad about it. After all this time, why was the mixing still not finished? You know what this reminds me of? Astroworld. More specifically though, the song Yosemite. And if you don't know where I'm going with this, let me jog your memory.
All you haters hugging your pillow, putting slob all over it.
Why did they add that? It's easy to judge an album based on how well it did commercially, and when arguing about which rapper is better, first week sales are always going to come up. And I'd go as far as to say that SoFaygo's Pink Heartz album was the absolute worst victim of this trend, possibly of all time. But with all that being said, going into Pink Heartz, he had already released the 4-pack, which included the most popular songs on the album, and 2 songs that have already been leaked for over a year. That's 6 out of 16 songs that have already been heard and done their highest streaming days before the project has even dropped. This alone sets the album up for commercial failure. And if that wasn't bad enough, the Before Pink tape was actually deterring listeners, music videos were scrapped without reason, and even the merchandise shows such a lack of attention to detail. I mean, look at this. These shirts were printed with S's instead of a Z for Pink Heartz. That's just a bad look. Also, that shirt says Beautiful Rockstar. That didn't even drop on Pink Heartz. Wait, did you say Legos? Why does he always diss Bobbleam? Also, a couple weeks after Pink Heartz, he did have some choice words to say to his haters. Pink Heartz sold 7K first week sales and didn't have a single charting song on billboards. The wave of drama, the haters, the memes, I don't think anyone could have predicted this outcome. Everyone knew this was a super talented kid who just took way too long to drop. And for whatever reason, it became a trend to hate on him. But with all that being said, hope wasn't lost. And as an attempt to make things right, he made the announcement that a deluxe would be coming through. 2023, a new era. This would be the year that Travis Scott's long-awaited project Utopia was finally set to drop. And just like he did with Don Toliver, he's gonna put SoFaygo on the map with a legendary feature. Wait a second, Travis doesn't follow SoFaygo? Travis unfollowed SoFaygo. No! SoFaygo would be opening for Nav on the Never Sleep tour. And as fans continued to speculate whether he was cut from the Cactus Jack label, something interesting would go down in Salt Lake.
I love you! I love you!
Before Don T comes on the stage and sends us off, I just want to say Love Sick, the album is on the way. Check West, you know the Scouts is on the way. We got Faygo about to put a little EP out, that's on the way. And right after that, Utopia.
This was obviously extremely hype, and Faygo would make sure to take advantage of the Travis co-signed stimulus, and just a couple days later, he'd release a 2-pack. Only on SoundCloud. That same weekend, Faygo and his right-hand producer Backwoods would hit the mountains to snowboard and shoot some videos for the new project. And little did we know, this would be one of the very last times that they worked together. As SoFaygo transitions into his new sound, he's featured in a commercial for Puma. And in this video, as part of the promotion for his new EP, he tells us a lot about how he's feeling. So let's watch it.
Everything just changes. It's a constant evolution in my life, and I've been watching it happen over and over again throughout the years of my career. I maintain my individual style by remaining in my own thoughts and personality. I stay away from social media. Just gotta change it up, new flavors, hit them with some boom, bam, surprise them a little bit. Play the beat, boom. In my music, the messages I talk about are more like being happy doing what you wanted to do and not what they wanted you to do. Now, it's not waiting for nobody.
Was that a shot at Travis? Well, all this video tells me is that SoFaygo, he understands the game now. And it sounds like he's implying that there's no one telling him when or if he's allowed to drop. And to signify the end of an era, he rebranded his whole style and actually started releasing singles. Unfortunately, before this project could officially release, the entirety of Go Plus was leaked. Somehow users were able to access it through Instagram, and his team was forced to drop the track list and the official cover art that same day. And some people couldn't help but notice a certain resemblance.
I woke up to niggas sounding like me.
Go Plus would surprise drop a few days later on a Wednesday, and yet again, he would go against the industry standard almost as if to avoid being subjected to the first week sales conversation. With that being said, he was making a statement with this EP. The music was solid, and it was well received by the fans, but there's no denying that this tape was very different from his last. There were no advertisements, the features are no names, and Travis is still nowhere to be found, even though this song was definitely made in the Go Plus era. The legendary Grail Backseat was finally here, and for a while they'd been hyping up some kind of CGI music video, but for unknown reasons, it was scrapped, along with the original verse, which in my opinion, sent a way better message. The overall consensus was that this tape was actually pretty solid. The fans wanted nothing more than a comeback from SoFaygo, and if it hadn't been leaked and forced to drop, I'd call it a success. But what the f is this? Whew. For a second there, I actually thought they dropped him. So that means he secured a spot on Utopia, right?
I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that. You know I can't tell you that.
See, I'm left off bad and bullshit?
Yeah.
Do it look like I'm left off bad and bullshit?
The promotions for Utopia were everywhere. Travis was finally about to release the project, and he would be playing it for the very first time at the Pyramids of Giza. That was very quickly canceled, but they were still rolling loud.
Yeah, everybody in this, say Utopia! Utopia! Say Utopia! Say Utopia!
This show was insane, and once his performance was over, just watch what was played on the big screen. This is it. 5 long years have led up to this moment. We're 1 week away from the official release of Utopia, and just like how Don had his moment, we were fully expecting Travis to unleash the secret weapon. Tizo touchdown? What the fuck? It's still not clear why Tizo took SoFaygo's place on the album and on the Circus Maximus tour, but the reality is Utopia was an extremely commercial project, and Travis, he was cultivating a universe, and the focus was on him. So one small verse from SoFaygo, it wouldn't have allowed for the moment that we were all waiting for. We just had to hope and pray that they had something much bigger planned, because if he wasn't in Utopia, where was he? SoFaygo would link up with the streamer Bruce Dropped Him Off as they hosted a series of live streams from Japan.
Oh my god! Oh my god! What's up?
Excitement. Can I take a picture?
Oh my god! Oh!
Let's go.
Oh, thank you so much!
That was so wholesome.
So nice. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day. I think I got it better. No, he was real happy.
Niggas in the US call that? They call that dick riding. But you know what I call it? I call it love. Real love.
Real appreciation.
Real appreciation.
This marked the beginning of the Never Apologize era, and it was this trip where they previewed an almighty new Grail.
That's a good
A fan-made edit of this snippet would go viral, and once again, the next up memes would resurface. 3 years ago, he blew up with this zesty triller, and what was that? Anyways, he was sending a message that the old Faygo was back. He went back into his triller bag and would actually release the song. This was a true project rollout, and Never Apologize was coming. There were SoundCloud exclusives, and he would go on live to say this. I don't know. As fans were finally starting to feel hopeful again, when music should have been ramping up, SoFaygo would disappear. Nobody seems to know what's going on. The fans were desperate for anything, and there were no answers. But that's when listeners took matters into their own hands. One Reddit user would make the call to action, and he says, spam the SoFaygo gif on any rap, bars, Bob-a-lam, post and write good things about Faygo, we'll see you. If Faygo ain't finna market himself, we will. This quickly became a popular trend, and still to this day it's common practice to spam this gif on anything SoFaygo related. And they would actually respond to this, and it looks like they got something for us. A second single would emerge, but not in the way we wanted. It seems like they were forced to drop after hackers found a way to leak the music video? I agree with this guy. How does this even happen? But it only gets worse. This wasn't everything that the leakers got their hands on, and for the second time in his career, his newest project would be leaked in its entirety. This was devastating, man. And can I just get another Never Apologize should have still dropped. This is personally my favorite project of his, and for those of you who know Ball, this is the only humble comparison. But since there had already been a history of him intentionally leaking music, I think there was some confusion regarding this project.
No, they love him. They started
That's why they doing it.
They started a whole.
They want him.
Like that's why they're leaking his music, because they want to hear it.
It's not because like they trying to destroy his career. Some artists take it as like.
I feel like it helps.
Hell yeah.
So was it scrapped, or was he really fighting for his life against the leakers? I don't really know. But in my opinion, this was his most complete sounding project to date. Everything just made sense. The title, the theme, and the overall sound they cultivated for this tape, it was too good to be shelved. Out of nowhere, SoFaygo would change his bio and seemingly confirms that War 2 Never Apologize was now the official title. This would be a sequel to his 2019 project War, and he would later say this: just be patient, stop letting people in blogs lie to y'all every day, stop leaking so I can drop for y'all. I ain't worried about a TikTok blowing up, that's the least of my concern. And in the broadcast channel, he'd send this message. SoFaygo would revamp his entire Spotify to fit the War 2 aesthetic. He dropped the first promotional single, and he was set to perform alongside the entire Cactus Jack crew for the Summer Smash event. Each member would get some time on stage to perform a couple songs, and SoFaygo was the opening act.
Chicago, when I say cactus, y'all say Jack. Cactus! Yeah! Cactus! Yeah! Cactus! Yeah! Yeah, man, War 2 on a motherfucking way. I want to give y'all one more song.
Why are they going here? Don't do my nigga like that.
Let's be honest, this performance looked lit, and even if he was getting booed off the stage, this was still a good look. Here's the reality of a set like this. Most people are there to see the big headliner, which is Travis. And since this is a shared performance, any song not played by Travis was just taking time off the clock. But regardless, the fans at home had his back.
Long time no see, red hair.
Yeah.
That means new era's approaching.
What time?
How you feeling though, coming off last night's performance? That was a big moment, you know?
It was just amazing, bro. Shit, can't even like fathom like shit going through my head.
Man, it's dope to see all you guys on stage. It's dope to see for the first time. You've been teasing Jack Boys too.
Jack Boys is gonna go insane.
Here's where things get interesting. SoFaygo would be operating from an alternate account which quite literally had the username War2 Never Apologize. This account would have one singular post, and in this jaded photo, he labels who we can assume is his pops, who is somewhere in the middle of the Cold War. And something even crazier was as he was gearing up to release the second promotional single for his next show, he'd be performing for Rolling Loud in Austria. And I'm not sure if this was intentional or not, and I don't mean to get political here, but Austria is known to be the spark that ignited World War I and would also play a huge role leading up to World War II. And it was at this show where he played his newest single for the very first time.
Make some motherfucking noise, Austria, one time. New shit! New shit! New shit! New shit! What? What? Black out on these bitches! What?
If that doesn't scream that War II was coming, then I don't know what does. A couple nights later, Travis and Faygo were seen once again back in the club, and can I just say, for someone who's supposedly dropped from the label, he sure as hell looks like he's having a good time. Also, Faygo would yet again take full advantage of the Travis stimulus, and he released Precision the very next day. SoFaygo would return to Japan, but this time with the popular streamer Blackboy Max. And just like the last time he was here,
Let's go, Faygo! Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, seriously though, just like the last time he was here, he would yet again preview another new Grail.
Yo, this shit hard, man. This shit hard.
The hype was at its peak for War II. All the signs were leading to the release of this project, so I can't believe that I'm saying this again, because just when fans were starting to feel hopeful, when music should have been ramping up, SoFaygo would disappear. He would close out the year with a SoundCloud exclusive EP titled Pressure, and even though it actually was Pressure, there was no ignoring the question we've all been asking for years. Where is the album? The name SoFaygo was bittersweet. He was once a young kid with pink hair, just trying to make a name for himself. The world seemed to be rooting for him, but instead of revealing himself, he would hide within the shadows. Fans have spent years on the edge of their seats just waiting for that perfect moment. We stood by, powerless, forced to listen to 30-second ads on SoundCloud just to listen to his music, which he never even bothered to release. And if that wasn't bad enough, the leader of Cactus Jack, the supposed man who ruined everything, he would do an interview with Billboard and completely fail to mention him. The question is, how has your brand Cactus Jack become so dominant? We try to be ourselves and be organic. It's not just me, I got my guys to thank. Don Tolliver, Sheck West, Chase B, you know, all of us. Damn. Obviously, this made headlines, and after all these years, it seems like SoFaygo really was done. But right when it felt like he could not or would not return, this was his response. Fans didn't understand what this meant, but I'm here to tell you that this change was a message to the world. And once I finally put the pieces together, I knew that this was a story about redemption.
My name is Jordan Belfort.
We all know the story of Jordan Belfort, stockbroker, salesman, and self-made king of chaos. He built an empire on pump and dump schemes, and in 2013, Leonardo DiCaprio would play him in his self-titled movie, The Wolf of Wall Street. Okay, but where am I going with this? Well, when the film rights were first acquired in 2007, the screenplay's ending was very different from what the audiences eventually saw. The movie would end with Jordan Belfort at his lowest point. He had lost everything, and the final scene would be the prison door slamming in his face. But what made this a true comeback was by the time this movie was greenlit in 2013, Jordan Belfort had actually rewritten his story. After he was released from prison, he would become a credible sales consultant and a highly successful motivational speaker. And by 2013, Jordan Belfort was going on what was called the Redemption Tour.
The nice thing about the movie is it told the story, but it allowed room for redemption. It showed that you were able to come back from it. And I think that's probably the strongest message.
I'll tell you something, I know we're almost out of time, but a great story is that the movie was first going to be made in 2007, and it got delayed, so it didn't go back into production for 4 more years, 2011, 2012, right? Well, what happened is when that movie was first written, the script, it ended with the door slamming, because that's where I was. I just got out of jail.
Right.
But over those 4 years, I made a comeback. And when the time came around for them to make the movie, and he was so intrigued by the comeback story, they changed the third act.
And they needed to, because that's what makes the movie so much different.
Yes. I mean, again, I rewrote my own life story while it was being made into a movie. I used a delay, which was bad news. Oh my God, the movie's delayed 4 more years. But rather than I could have said, oh, my life, so what can I do? I thought it was going to be a movie. But instead, I just put one foot in front of the other, and I built this really successful business. And when Scorsese saw that, he said, we have to change this movie because it was so fundamental to the story. As you said, made it a better movie. And I think the lesson there is that it's never too late. You can always rewrite your life story, but number one, you got to take responsibility for whatever you did. You have to accept it, not blame others. And then also there's certain skills you're probably going to have to learn and master, and then just take massive action, massive hard work. And it's never too late to change the story of your life.
Wow. Wasn't that advice just so fitting? You see, the world had been rooting for a comeback, and the words of Jordan Belfort reflected exactly what the fans wanted from SoFaygo. Take accountability, rewrite the story, and take massive action. But now that you understand the timeline, we have to go back to this question. Because what has SoFaygo done to make Cactus Jack so dominant? Well, the truth is, he's done nothing. And stay with me here, but it actually makes more sense that Travis would purposely leave SoFaygo out of this article. You see, every time Travis fails to mention him, it's another big day for rap news. And throughout the years, fans will question why he never left the label. Or better yet, why, if he was dormant for so long, was he never kicked from Cactus Jack? Cactus Jack. The brand that's associated with the best of the best. The brand that cemented its identity by being exclusive. And while the fans have been hell-bent on this comeback story, what they didn't understand was that he was right here the whole time. And not only was he meticulously leaving behind cryptic messages, but over the last couple years, he would be building one of the deepest unreleased catalogs that I have ever seen. And the only other two comparisons that even come close are Lil Uzi and Juice WRLD. Which brings me back to this. This little grin. This yellow color. It was not only an ode to one of the wildest comeback stories ever, but the real message would come from one of the most famous scenes of all time.
I'm not fucking leaving!
That was a reaction from a 1-second cameo on the Jack Boys 2 trailer. SoFaygo was officially back, and his presence was exclusive. He would release a brand new track called Don't Hold the Fire, and this song was for the haters, but it was also a message to himself. When he says don't hold on to the fire, he's not talking about a weapon. No. It's almost like he's hyping himself up and getting prepared to officially release music. There were no shortage of promotions for Jack Boys 2, and as a way to confirm the features on the album, Travis would individually gift each featured artist a custom Jack Boys 2 Lambo. This was the final confirmation that SoFaygo would be on the project, and finally, after all these years, he'd have his moment.
It's my gel in my shoes, it's my gel in my
His monthly listeners would skyrocket, and once again, people were actually talking about SoFaygo. And since the hype was at an all-time high, they would make the announcement that a brand new project was coming. And the title? MANIA. At the time of this recording, they've confirmed that the tape is done. And once again, the title would be representing his current state of mind. Mania can be defined as a state of elevated activity, energy, and mood. And the symptoms? Feelings of invincibility, racing thoughts, and hallucinations. And maybe I'm hallucinating, but it seems like finally the project from SoFaygo is here. And just hear me out. If this is the equivalent to this, then that means this could mean this.